Say hi to Facebook, everybody. Woo! Yeehaw! I am Dr. Brett Spradlin, and this is Divine Design Natural Health for another installment of our wellness workshops, what we call WellWorks. We are going to blow through some things real quick. We're getting started super late because we just have been running an ER clinic all day long, pretty much, helping everybody with everything from broken fingers and stubbed toes, thank you very much, to all kinds of womanly issues even, and all kinds of things like that. And I am parched. So you guys pass that around. Sorry to the Facebook crowd about getting started so late, but I'm going to blaze through the folder here that you all got. Facebook people, sorry, you got to go through this with me. Right here, most important stuff right here is you'll open it up. Are these still in here? The little award we got from Jim Rush Funeral Homes a while back. That was kind of funny. But Facebook, Jim Rush Funeral Home Awards still in here. That's kind of interesting. I guess it's funny enough to keep going with. So testimonials on this first side right here, first page, front and back testimonials. Just to show you this is not just a neck pain, back pain, headache, mom and pop chop shop. This is not a typical chiropractic office. Yes, I am a trained chiropractor. But there's a lot more stuff we do beyond that, let me just tell you, boys and girls. So there's a lot of testimonials there, as well as some things about some of the biggest medical myths out there that you might need to avail yourselves of. And then if you want to refer to this, we're going to pull this out for all of you, the 146 reasons why sugar is ruining your health. We're going to talk about that tonight a little bit, if you want to pull that out and keep that handy. Over here, a letter I wrote to everyone telling you why I'm here. I already know why you're here. You've been looking for us. We've been waiting for you. Some other questions you might need to ask yourself. A couple of articles I wrote just to show you kind of the vision of where we're going. And then one thing here called a daily record of food intake. Yes, we watch what people eat. You cannot be a good physician of natural health without doing that. So that's a big deal. Last two things I want to cover in the folder, Divine Design Catalyzing Statement. I know it by heart. You should too. In the sacred service of saving lives ahead of time, we are globally freeing billions of beings through all natural biblical health. That's a grand statement. Do we have a big vision? Yes. Are we getting there quickly? Yes. Thanks to all of you and for sharing and liking and sending stuff on Facebook and telling friends and family about us. Fall WellWorks. You are here. Here's our schedule for the last, what I call semester. We did women's health in September. We did why your kids are sicker than ever in October to kind of start the Halloween. That's a good time for why your kids are sick, right? To explain it. October 15th, a couple weeks ago, we did cancer. The cure is. November 5th, we are here tonight. The most evil substance on earth. November 19th, I'm prompting everybody to let everyone know if you know of anyone who's been diagnosed with the alphabet soup disorders, the OCD, the ADD, the ADHD, the oppositional defiant syndrome, all this stuff, all the kids, all the grandkids. If you know anyone who is suffering also with anxiety or depression or bipolar, manic depression, anything like that, get them here. Or get their relatives here, or get somebody here who can make a decision for their health care. Because this here, the chemical imbalance, no such thing, that's going to blow your mind. That's November 19th. Put it on your calendar, 2 weeks from tonight. And then December 10th, stress, the death cascade. You might want to put that on your calendar too. I'm going to pretty much go through every disease that you can name on a board about this size, and we're going to go through where it comes from and how you fix it. It's very simple. When you start thinking of disease as being all these massive things that we need to build separate clinics and buildings and have different specialties for to understand all these separate diseases, it gets very overwhelming and it gets very complicated. But when you understand that the immune system takes care of most of them, it gets pretty simple. When you overcomplicate things, it gets pretty complex. So if we can keep it simple, we can fix a lot of stuff very quickly. Does that make sense, or does that make sense? It makes sense. Somebody said it makes sense. I love that. So these are the next two classes. November 19th, chemical imbalance. Put that on your schedule. Any questions as far as this goes? And we'll get right into the nitty-gritty meat and potatoes. Thank you for that, darling. I'll let you write all over that. Pass that box around. There'll be freebies. Good stuff coming. I want to, first we'll read through just to understand what you're here for and why other people who are patients here have experienced. To get us to this point, I'll read a few testimonials just so you all understand what we're doing here. We do not advertise other than just the stuff that we put for free on social media. Social media is very useful for advertising for free. So we don't do much. But even if we have people that find us on Google or Facebook, we have them come to a class like this so that they can understand what we're doing and the reason why we're here. Yeah?
Just real quick, so I didn't know if all you knew, the green box that Savannah has right here, we do need everybody's names in that because that's how everybody gets drawn to see, win something for free. So just make sure, we're going to pass it around one more time, make sure you get your name in there, and then you can send it back to Savannah once we're done.
Yes.
Okay?
If you want free stuff, put your name on it. If not, we don't even do mass emailings, really, to tell you the truth. We will at some point in the future, and just we'll email you and say, hey, this is our newsletter if you want it, blah blah blah. If not, unsubscribe. We're never going to spam you or call you or anything like that. So what I was saying about testimonials, we don't advertise. We do all word of mouth, friend and family referral. In other words, if somebody finds us online or on Facebook or Google, we have them come to one of these classes. How many of you know if they're not going to come to a free informational class that we're doing for the betterment of the community, they're never going to come to a paid appointment? Is that right? So if they don't come to one of these classes, they just want to come in and dictate to me what their care is going to be. It's going to be a very different experience. So how do we build a grassroots campaign like this that's all word of mouth, that's all friend and family word of mouth referral where we don't advertise? Right here, you get results. I'll tell you. Here's one. I hadn't even seen this one before, but the way that we write these out, they're called victory sheets. And when somebody has a victory, they put how they were before and then how they are now. How you were before. She said, I didn't realize this. I hadn't even seen this until you pointed it out to me a few minutes ago. She said, this was just October 30th. Now that I can smell food, I really didn't know what I was missing. She's 60, late 60s, I'd say, or something like that. She couldn't smell food. I didn't know that. How do you fix that? Well, you don't have to know all the bits and pieces and the nooks and crannies of it. The body will fix it. You don't need to worry about the details. That's what we did there. I didn't know that. See? There's no magic pill or potion or lotion or adjustment that will restore somebody's smell. But over time, guess what? People will get better like that. Here's another one. My husband had a pre-cancerous spot on his nose. A dermatologist gave him a cream to heal it. 2 months had gone by and it wasn't healing. Dr. Brett saw it, lasered it, and recommended wheat germ oil. Needless to say, finally his nose is looking normal after he'd been on some kind of cortisone cream from the dermatologist for 2 months after a precancerous lesion was removed. Does that make sense? Makes a ton of sense. Okay. Periods were painfully debilitating, blah, blah, blah. Many missed days of school and work over the years with no signs of improvement. I bet you're wondering, how can a chiropractor doing nutrition affect somebody's periods? No, you were thinking that. Perfect. Birth control and medicines were not something I wanted to consume, so I resigned myself to the pain and suffering. That was before. How are you now? Dr. Brett's changed my life. What used to isolate me to bed, disrupting my life, is now barely noticeable. It's incredible to me that something that was causing so much pain in my life has taken a 180-degree turn to the point that I completely forgot I was even on my period. To beat all other isn't even why. Oh, this isn't even why I came to Divine Design. It's just happened to be an incredible, unexpected side effect on top of all the life-changing work going on at Divine Design. Another one, love the adjustments in this program. It makes sense. Learning about how the body works in response to adjustments, etc., is interesting and eye-opening. I feel like my health is definitely improving from the inside out. Major back pain, walked in, 10 out of 10. This was an already going patient. Walked in with back pain, 10 out of 10. Went to 2 out of 10 during the visit. How do we do that? That's the secret sauce. Got up that night, usually hurts very bad, can't sleep, didn't feel any pain when waking up. This guy had back pain for decades. 10 out of 10 back pain. 10 out of 10 back pain for decades? That's, in the morning it would be really, really bad, but it would get better throughout the day. Struggled with psoriasis for over 9 years. I had different diets, supplements, steroid creams, medications, etc. Nothing seemed to make a long-term difference. Doctors, both natural and medical, couldn't give me any answers. This was just, all of these testimonials, this was just, what, 5 or 6 out of 30? 30 or 40? just in the last couple of weeks, since the last class we had. So we just picked the good ones. We just picked the big ones. They're all good, but we just picked the big ones. Doctors, both natural and medical, couldn't give me answers. After coming here, now I've seen people care. Now I've never seen people care so much and be so diligent about helping get better. At first it got worse, but I was told skin always gets worse before it gets better, and it takes the longest time. Now in the last few weeks, I've seen drastic improvement. My skin's finally less flaky and no more oozing. She had psoriasis on both arms and chest. Stomach, some spots over, just oozing, cracking open and oozing. No more oozing. I'm finally feeling like perfectly clear skin and is actually within reach. And then last but not least, here we go. I've been doing much better overall, and I'm still just dealing with one lingering issue. When seeing my medical doctor last week, my husband boldly told her, if it wasn't for this one issue, we would just be exchanging Christmas cards. Love that. You know who you were. That's great. She had some debilitating stuff. She'd been to Vanderbilt over and over and over. Long story, drug surgery, and she works in that field. So her husband, on their last trip, I think it was to Vanderbilt, said, hey, if it wasn't just for this one little thing sticking around, which we are diligently watching decrease, by the way, if it wasn't for that one little thing, we'd be exchanging Christmas cards, and that's it. And they've been going there for a long time. Now, I say that to say this. Those are just testimonials. Those are the top, 6 or 8 testimonials out of 30 or 40 in the last couple of weeks since we had our last class. We go through and grab those, harvest those, just to be able to share with you guys so that you know what we're doing here. And I'll say this too, she works in the medical field. We don't do anything or say anything to disparage anyone in the medical field. I've got friends and family who are in the medical field, nurses, the whole 9 yards. We know that people who are there are trying to do their best and to help people. Or if they're not, they might be in the wrong field. And I probably went to school with some of them. But here's the deal. At some point in time, whether you hear it from me or whether you hear it from somebody else, you're going to be faced with the idea, you're going to be faced with the fact that something in American healthcare is drastically wrong. I don't care if you hear it from me, you'll hear it from somebody else. I'm not disparaging doctors or nurses. Half my practice is doctors and nurses. So you have to ask yourself why. With that question right there, you have to ask, why is that the biggest sector of people I work on? Secondly, you have to ask, why is America so sick? If we have all the cancer centers and all the drugs and surgeries and vaccines, why is America so sick? If you're not willing to advance that question in your mind, if you're not willing to ask that question, you'll be relegated to the field of mediocrity and averageness where no one can ask what's wrong with medicine because we're afraid of offending somebody. That's what we have to do. We have to go, hey, we've got all the drugs, all the surgeries, all the vaccines, yet the kids are sick. For first generation of kids, the American public, kids that are not projected, to outlive their parents. What's going on? Well, we have some answers. The truth might make you a little bit mad before it sets you free. You know what I mean? So we have the answers. We can tell you all those answers. You can come on here. You can come to these classes, Facebook. You can watch these. By the way, all of our past videos are out there. We're not hiding anything. It's all out there. So you can go back and watch some of these things, share them with your friends and your family. Get them in here. Okay? So we say that to say this. I've got friends and family in the health fields. I've got respected colleagues in the health fields. I know people who do exactly what I do, who are medical doctors, who would tell you the same exact thing. So it's time that we buck up and we put on our work coats, our work hats, and we get to town. We get to the meat and potatoes, nitty gritty, and we get down to business and start telling people and start acting like we have the truth and that we know the answers and that we're sick of mediocrity. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm saying. That's your call to action. So here's the deal. Everybody here is here because you heard of us through someone else. Like I said, we run a word-of-mouth, friend and family referral-only practice. If you come to us through Google or through Facebook, that's good, but you just have to come to one of these classes. And if you don't want to do that, this probably isn't the place for you. That's okay. This isn't the place for everybody. We'll tell you that straight up front. You are here now, then, because you're either required to come to one of these classes when you start as a new patient, or, which is why the reason you're here is to see what we're preaching, what we're teaching, and how this applies to everyone else in your field. Everyone else at work, everyone else at home, everyone else that you know of at the family reunion or at the dinner table. You have to come to a realization, too, that they have problems that they need help with. How is it affecting their lives? How is it affecting their family? How is it affecting their social lives? How is it affecting their work? Are they sick from work twice a week and about to lose their job because they have debilitating headaches? Can they not pick up their kids because their back is killing them? Can they not go out in public, like one of these testimonials, because she was afraid of her skin or constipation or diarrhea. They never know when it's going to hit, so they're afraid to be social. I mean, this is real stuff. This is where rubber meets the road. This is the real stuff that happens in the real world. So you have to understand, how is this affecting your life? Okay, great. How is it affecting their lives? You have to tell people. You have an obligation, a duty, you have a privilege to be able to tell people, hey, you can be the person that told them the truth, or you can be hearing about somebody else that told them the truth. Personally, I'll take the heat. I'd much rather be the first person who came to you and said, hey, why do you think your kids are sick? All the vaccines, drugs, surgery in the world. We live in the most technologically advanced society in the history of known recorded civilization, yet the kids are sicker than ever. What's up? We got all the drugs. I'll be the first person that tells it to you. So you have to ask, what's the future going to be like if you don't tell them? Or if you don't act on what you know today, right? If people are ready for a change, rate that change. Hey, we ask this of every person who comes in, how ready are you to make a change? 1 to 10. If it's anything less than a 9, we stop right there. You're in the wrong place. Come back next week. Come back next month. Let us know. If you are anywhere less than like a 9, we need to talk later at a later date because you're just not ready. And that's okay. That's fine. You have to ask yourself, how serious are you? How ready am I to do this? And then you have to realize that there is hope. And if there are other people out there getting results like this with psoriasis and periods and a returned olfactory sense in cranial nerve 1, where you can smell for the first time, and I don't know how many, that was probably there for decades. I don't know. We'll have to ask her. Put that on the list. Hey, how long were you not able to smell? I'd love to know this. And that's, you know what? That's not the first time that's happened at all. So you have to say, well, there is hope. If somebody's getting results like this, don't you think if the local FP or if the local internist was getting results like this, don't you think you'd hear it all over the evening news? Why aren't you? Think about it. So I'll stand up and say, hey, there is hope and we are here. So we'll be a little bold, we'll be a little obnoxious. I don't care. I'm tired of seeing sick people get sicker and healthy people die. I'm tired of it. So we'll stand in the gap and we'll wave a little banner of truth and freedom for everybody that's ready to get under our flag. That's cool. Let's do it. So you have to ask yourself a question. If there is a place in this town that can help people, why am I not telling people? And that'll lead you to the right people, and people will start flocking around you saying, hey, where do I go? What do I do? What kind of family practice do you go to? Had somebody come in today, somebody came in and said, I was asking around for a family practice for a primary care, and they gave me your name. I said, great, you're in the right spot. Oh yeah, you're in the right spot. Primary care, awesome. You come here before anything else. That's great. That's exactly what we're here for. So other than that, that's the call to action. Okay? Real quick, any disease, we'll put it up here. Let's just call, what's the most common? Well, you can say, I don't care. Put the disease up here. We'll talk about so many, it's ridiculous. Heart disease, ADD, Alzheimer's, doesn't matter, okay? You've been to a class, organ dysfunction, nutritional deficiencies. You've been to a class, you've seen this. We preach this all day long. Why? Because it's simple and it decimates anything that I ever learned in school to the simplicity that is just a profound simplicity. Okay? You can study your entire life learning about one type of cancer. I know people that do it. You can be a pathologist. You can study every disease under the sun. You can study the naming, the staging, the grading, the CAT scans, the MRIs, and the blood lab panels for every disease under the sun. But if you study disease, what will you always find? If you study disease, what will you always find? Somebody say it. If you study disease, you're always going to find disease. If you study health, what are you always going to find? How can that be possible? If I spend my entire life studying pathology, if I study my entire life studying the study of disease, pathology, how am I ever going to know how to fix the body? What do we learn in schools most of the time? We learn pathology. We learn the disease. We don't learn how to fix it. We learn the disease. And I'm talking to myself. My own graduate, doctorate degree did not teach me how to fix the body. It taught me disease, taught me a lot about disease. Taught me how to name it and stage it and grade it and pet it and water it and feed it and call it names. Stupid. And now we all can spend a whole bunch of premiums and deductibles and copays to go to a bunch of imaging centers so that we can name it and stage it and grade it ourselves and figure out what it's called. Who cares what it's called? You're going to treat it 9 times out of 10 the same way, right? Yeah. So organ dysfunction can lead to disease, or nutritional deficiencies can lead to disease. In this case, the nutritional deficiency is something that's caused by the most evil substance on earth. Who knows what that is? Raise your hand. Don't shout it out. Who knows what the most evil substance on earth is? Oh, some of you cheaters. I know you're cheating. You cheater. Tracy, are you cheating? No. Really? How do you know this? You know this already? Okay. Tracy, go ahead and say to the world, what is the most evil substance on earth? Sugar. Say it louder. Sugar. Everybody repeat it. I'm like a conductor up here. Sugar, sugar. That's so true. So that is true. How can that be? What is sugar in? Absolutely everything. Now there's good sugar, there's bad sugar. Good sugar is the kind God made, bad sugar is the kind man created in a laboratory and sold to you at a high price so as not to have to import cane sugar from a foreign country. That's what we do. That's what we call high fructose corn syrup, and you don't want that. So I'm just going to read through a whole bunch of facts here. We can put any one of these diseases. Cancer, how many of you, what does cancer feed off of? Sugar. Everybody knows it. What does bacteria feed off of? So any bacterial infection, if you ate sugar, would it get better or worse? How about viruses, parasites, fungus? What do they all eat? Sugar. So if you have an infective problem in your body, a tuberculosis, some kind of cancer, some kind of pneumonia, some kind of bug, some kind of strep, some kind of any type of pneumonia, anything named after a bacteria, virus, fungus, parasite, what do you think would be the number one thing that would make it worse if you ate? Sugar. So I'll just qualify this as being cancer and all other infective agents, all other bacteria, virus, fungus, parasite, any microorganism that does not belong in or on the human body. That goes for, you hear, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a little bit. Heart disease. How can heart disease be linked to sugar? Well, I'll tell you. Because a lot of times there's sugar linked to protein. When sugar links to protein and it goes down your blood vessels, it's not supposed to be linked to protein. I don't want to get too complicated with this, but glycosylated sugar, glycosylated protein, glycosylated glycosaminoglycans, we'll just call them GAGs. Makes you gag saying it. But it's this big amino attached to a sugar molecule. It's a big giant molecule. And when it goes down your arteries, it tears little holes in your arteries. The best way to make glycosylated aminos is to toast a substance that is full of sugar. So basically when you burn sugar, it makes these molecules. This is going to tell you why this is so bad to eat. When you burn a sugar molecule, it becomes glycosylated. What is the biggest form of burnt sugar molecules out there? Any type of toasted bread. Any type of toasted bread. Right? Any type of cereal, any type of toasted bread, any type of bagel. So when you get these big giant molecules tumbling down your arteries and they scrape the sides and then cholesterol shows up to patch it, what do you think is going to get blamed for the heart disease? The big giant sugar molecule or the patch of cholesterol that your body put there to repair the damage? Cholesterol. That is why the other day, or a day or two ago, I saw, oh, it's the end of the year. The American Heart Association is going to come out with brand new guidelines on cholesterol drugs. What do you think they're going to do? Are they going to say we need to decrease them or we need to increase them? I'm 2 months ahead of time. I'm prophetically calling out they're going to increase them. How do I know? Do it every year. It's clockwork. So, but here's one doctor on the news. This was what was this? The local news? One doctor who said, well, you know, it's interesting that the cholesterol, all of the people who are saying this cholesterol stuff, 7 out of the 8 doctors that wrote these studies coming up that are going to be unveiled like in the next 60 days, 7 out of the 8 doctors have heavy ties to the pharmaceutical companies, meaning they're being paid. That's what that means. Heavy ties to the pharmaceutical companies. So Now, the other one out of those 8, 7 out of 8, I wonder if the other one had any or was just kind of moderately in bed with them. I'm not sure. But there's one doctor standing up and saying that it's the cholesterol thing is totally out of control. But if I go to my physician societies and I say something, I have to be very careful because I'm stepping on a lot of toes because they're all getting paid by the pharmaceutical companies, right? But what's happening is these big giant molecules are tearing down your arteries, ripping holes in everything, causing something, we're going to call it heart disease eventually because it's going to be coronary artery disease, or it's going to be a bypass, or it's going to be chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, COPD. There's going to be something. But you're going to have these big giant holes torn in your arteries, and then you're going to blame cholesterol for the problem. It's like blaming cops for crime. They're not there as a result. They're not there as a cause of the crime. They're there as a result of the crime. So the cholesterol is kind of the same thing. It's not there as a cause of the heart disease. It's there as a result of it. How many, well, we'll get to that later. ADD, put it here. How many of you know most ADD, and we'll talk about that next time when we talk about the chemical imbalance thing. Your kids, your grandkids, your stepkids, your cousins, your nieces, your nephews are all being put on a heavy-duty batch of neurostimulants in order to cover up this right here. We'll talk about that next time. That's going to really, really make a lot of people mad, and I can't wait. But we'll put the disease here, ADD. How many of you know if you were to alleviate sugar from people's diets, how many of you know you wouldn't have that much ADD going around? But how many vending machines are there at school? And how many of you work in the school system? Have you ever seen what the kids are eating? Anybody? Yeah. Oh, yeah, you guys do. Yeah, absolutely. So, and here, Alzheimer's. This, I wanted to cover this because this is, what's the other name for Alzheimer's? Almost. They got a brand new name for Alzheimer's just in the last year or two. They're starting to call it diabetes type 3. Why would that be? It's insulin resistance of the brain. Did you know that the largest problem, the biggest medical problem on planet Earth is insulin resistance? What is insulin resistance? That's where you eat a bunch of sugar, and then your body makes a bunch of insulin over and over and over and over and over, and the cells on the receptors on the outside of your cells get burnt out. It's almost like opioid addiction. You burn out enough of the receptors on the cells, and you have to have more, you have to have more, you have to have more, you have to have more. Same thing. Sugar, it's the same thing. You're burning out the receptors on the cell membrane. So now, instead of having this much sugar give you the same effect, now you have to have this much sugar, this much sugar. So you get more insulin going up, and you have to have more sugar, more sugar, more sugar, more insulin going up, and you finally burn out the receptors on your cells, and you have insulin resistance. That's what insulin-resistant type 2 diabetes is. You've heard of insulin resistance? That's diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, diabetes of the brain. That's the new term. If you haven't heard it, you will, I promise. So if we put any of these diseases here, there will be organ dysfunction. What's the organ dysfunction of the nutritional deficiency? And this way you could say nutritional deficiency, you could say it's too much bad or not enough good. Two ways of saying that, nutritional deficiency. My pen is drying. Alzheimer's, the organ dysfunction would be brain, ADD, brain, heart disease, heart, cancer, whatever organ. You got cancer of the pancreas, guess what? Could there be too much bad stuff and not enough good stuff? Too much insulin? Not enough good food, not enough nutrients in order to rebuild the pancreas? Could that be the problem? The answer is yes. So I'll read through a few facts for you, and we'll be right out of here, probably right at 7, as long as nobody has too many massive questions. So at the turn of the century, it was a novelty for people to have a cup of tea, but in 1955, movies happened. How many of you remember that? Movies? Remember when movies happened? Okay. And in September 23rd of 1955, President Eisenhower had a heart attack. This is where it all started. President Eisenhower had a heart attack, and there were two schools of thought. This heart disease was all of a sudden, I mean, you got the president of the free world having a heart attack. And so heart disease was thrust into the national spotlight. There was a gentleman who's a scientist who decided that he was a U.S. guy, a U.S. scientist. His name was Ancel Keys. And he theorized that fat was the problem. And then there was a British doctor named John Yudkin, I believe his name was, that blamed sugar. Well, by the 1970s, Ancel Keys won out, and we'll explain why here in a minute. Sugar was cleared, fat was vilified, and the whole low-fat movement started. Isn't it? Say that again, Robin. That is so true. In the 1970s, Ancel Keys won out. Ancel Keys was the U.S. scientist who said fat was the problem. So you've got two warring factions here. You've got some people, heart disease, what is it? Well, some people say it's fat. Other people said it was sugar. I'll settle the debate right now. Who made fat? God or man? Who made sugar? God or man? For the most part, right? I mean, there's sugar in foods, but who accentuated the sugar? God didn't do that. Find me a normal a plant or animal that has the amount of sugar that a box of cereal has. I mean, seriously. So fat is a natural component of every living being. Every animal has fat, right? You have fat for a reason. Some of us have more than others. We'll get to why that is. But in the 70s, Ancel Keys won out. Now, how much political meandering, how much do you think, like, fat versus sugar, were there people in play back then that could have pulled the strings? Just like what we talked about with the cholesterol studies. Are there strings to be pulled there with 7 out of the 8 doctors who wrote the things getting money from the pharmaceutical companies? Who stood to make a whole lot of money? Let me just ask you this. Can humans produce fat? Can humans produce sugar? Yeah, absolutely, in mass quantities. Can we make substitutes for sugar? There you have it. So in the 70s, we'll get to that further on down the road, sugar was cleared, fat was vilified, the low-fat movement started in the 70s. Thank you. So the low-fat movement started saying low fat, no fat. Low-fat yogurt, no-fat yogurt, low-fat milk, no-fat milk, boom, 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 in the 70s. Now, fast forward, 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010, 2020. Let me remind you, fat. Every cholesterol molecule in your body, every hormone in your body, every testosterone, progesterone, estrogen, every brain cell, every neuron has at its heart, at its core, a molecule of fat. Now, let me ask you, when did the scourge of infertility in this nation start? When did the epidemic of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's start? When did the epidemic of people who could not, when did low T start? When did all this craziness start? People not being able to have kids. I mean, I know it's been happening since biblical times, but when did we have in vitro fertilization clinics? When did we get all this? Where did this start? Well, right. So a generation, a few decades after we passed this whole, hey, you got to go low fat, no fat. You got to watch your Jane Fonda workout tapes, and you got to go on the low fat, no estrogen. What they're telling you when they say low fat, no fat is then if you don't eat fat, then your body cannot produce estrogen or progesterone or testosterone, right? 9 times out of 10, you show me somebody who is somebody who's complaining of erectile dysfunction or somebody who's complaining of some kind of hormonal thing, show me some of their drugs that they're on that's messing up their hormones, or the fact that they're on a statin blocker, the fact that they're on a cholesterol blocker, a statin drug. 9 times out of 10. So this whole entire generation of people that could not make progesterone or estrogen or testosterone, here came all of these hormone problems, lots of times misdiagnosed as thyroid problems, correct? A whole generation of people who could not reproduce, a whole generation of people who, what are all of your hormones are dependent upon to make is fat. Your body makes all of these hormones out of fat. Does that make sense? So your fat is one of the things, you have to have it to live. We'll get to more of that here in a little bit. But there are authors, lawyers, documentarians out there who have gone over, I mean, there's Sweet Poison, there's Sweet Misery, there's all kinds of books and documentaries. Wheat Belly, you've all heard of the Wheat Belly book. You've all heard of Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. You've all heard of, Food Incorporated. You've all heard of Food Matters. You've all heard of Hungry for Change. You've heard of these massive documentaries. What's the one thing they're all saying? Cut the refined, processed carbohydrates. Cut the sugar. Cut the crap that's in the boxes, the cans, and the bags. Cut the stuff and just stop saying, well, I have a sweet tooth. Yeah, I get it. The food scientists know that. Yeah, the food scientists know that. You think the food scientists, they pay these guys hundreds of thousands of dollars, food scientists, to sit in a lab and figure out what the bliss point is for each product. Bliss point, we'll talk about that in a little bit. So there are naturopaths, there's nutritionists, there's health advisors all across the world that are starting to notice and go, hey, Alzheimer's, diabetes type 3. Diabetes, #1 disease on the continent right now. They're starting to notice and they're going, okay, wait, blood sugar is too high. Instead of giving more insulin, what should we try to decrease in order to decrease the blood sugar? Sugar. Do you see that? There are diabetics in this practice who aren't diabetics anymore, who aren't taking insulin, people. Because instead of pumping up the insulin to pull down the blood sugar, who's not telling them to stop eating the sugar? So if you pull down the blood sugar, guess what happens to the need for insulin? Is that simple or is that simple? But then you're confronting something that's very sacred to people, and it's their diet. You're confronting something that they might not want to change. So this is a big deal. But if you want to save people's lives, and if you want to get ahead of the curve here with Alzheimer's and type 3 diabetes of the brain, you think this is kind of important to know? Are people's family practice, are the internists, are they telling them this? Maybe, maybe not. But when we've got some pretty heavy duty evidence that shows that all you got to do, the blood sugar comes from your blood. I've heard people in Tennessee say, well, I don't know, I went to my doctor and they just can't figure out why my blood sugar is sky high. I've heard those words. They cannot figure out why my blood sugar is sky high. I just want to go, I can. I already know. I don't even need to ask you a question. I'll tell you why your blood sugar is too high. There's only one reason why your blood sugar could possibly be too high. Where does your blood sugar come from? It comes from your food. It's the only place it can come from. Right? You didn't grab a lottery ticket and, oh, my blood sugar is high. It can only come from one place. And when you take insulin to decrease your blood sugar, it's like shooting yourself, to use up that last Band-Aid. Well, I got these Band-Aids over here. I might as well use them. Oh, yeah, well, okay, well, now I've got a reason to use it. It's kind of the same stupidity. It makes absolutely no sense. But there's an entire generation of your aunts, uncles, cousins, now your kids, that are being targeted. There's an entire generation of people that don't know that. So, Alzheimer's, big deal. 40 teaspoons per day is average. And a teaspoon, just to give you a little bit of an idea, is 4 grams of sugar. So like in a can of Coca-Cola, there's 44 grams of sugar in one can. So that's 11 teaspoons of sugar. Now, if you want to lose weight, I'll give you the golden number. You want to lose weight? Ditch your carbs down to 72 grams and you will start to lose weight. How many people can do that without training or without helping or without being coached down? Very few. But 72 grams, man. You get under 72 grams, you'll start to lose weight. Yes, I said it. Go for it, Facebook. 72 grams. Do it. You cut your grams of carbs, but you will be shocked to learn that a banana has 58 grams of sugar in it. You'll be shocked to learn that an apple has 16 grams of sugar in it. You'll be shocked to learn when you start adding up the cake and the candy and the pasta, even if it's gluten-free, I'm sorry. Pasta's pasta, noodle's noodle, cake is cake. I don't care if it's gluten-free, grass-fed, homeschooled, reverse homogenized, purified, distilled, reverse osmosis, sugar, it is still sugar. Thank you for the laughs there. That was funny. That was funny. I just made that up. But the sugar is sugar. So if you can cut that down, you'll be blown away. But 72 grams, that's the limit. If you can get under about 70 grams of sugar, you will start to lose weight. And people who are writing this all down, and patients who are here, and you want to lose weight, people on Facebook, you want to lose weight, we can get you there. We can. And I'm not ever condoning really to too many people, unless they really, really, really want to get there and have a real problem at first, to ever have to sit there and count your grams and your calories and your carbs. We get you to the point where you're just eating real food. And guess what you'll have to count? Nothing. Nothing. All this counting your calories and grams and carbs is crap. You don't need to do any of it. It's so stressful. Then that'll make you OCD and crazy because you're counting your carbs. And then people end up with disorders because they're so flipped out and so freaked out about eating a little Hershey's Kiss, and they have to add up the Weight Watchers points and figure out, oh, can I eat this? Can I not? No, it's stupid. How about you just eat something real? You should eat something that wasn't cooked down the street here in a big giant vat. How's that sound? So anyway, 1 teaspoon of sugar is 4 grams. Just know that. Grains, breads, pastas, pastas, fruits, all of this turn to glucose. Now there is some sugar in real sugar made by God, sugar, not sugar processed, refined, bleached sugar made by man, okay? There is a little bit of sugar in veggies and fruits. And for that, we can talk about that later. That's not the topic of this. What we're talking about here is refined processed carbohydrates. Grains, breads, pastas, all that stuff. That's the stuff we're talking about. The cakes, the candies, all that things, all those things. Most of the sugar that's in veggies and fruits will turn to fructose, or will turn to glucose, okay? Cheese, milk, yogurt, that's lactose. So you hear people say they're lactose intolerant. Well, that's kind of a yes and a no. Lactose is a sugar. Lactase is an enzyme. So if they're lactose intolerant, that means they don't have enough lactase in their body. Usually it's from drugs or other medical procedures and problems that have come up that has decreased their ability of their body to make lactase so that their body can digest lactose, therefore they have a problem with it. That can be fixed. It's no problem for the most part. It takes a little explaining. But there's glucose, there's lactose, there's sucrose, there's different forms of sugar. The sucrose, that's your table sugar. Okay, and that's 50% glucose and 50% fructose. So there's different molecules of sugar that join together and create other different molecules of sugar. There's different types of sugar. That's all I want you to get out of that. Lactose is that's usually in cheese, milk, yogurt, stuff like that. And glucose is what's in fruits and veggies. And then sucrose is what's in table sugar. So just so you know. Breakfast cereal, yogurt, juice, put all that stuff together, just the moderate servings of that, and you've got 20 teaspoons of sugar. You're already, just that one meal, you're almost at the halfway point of your daily recommendation. And one thing that I will say, people always ask me, what about juicing? Well, think about it. The fiber in an apple tells your body that you're full. So if you remove the fiber and just put the straight juice into your body, and then that's one apple, but most people don't just juice one apple, they'll juice 10 or 15. So you put all this juice into your body at once. Is that going to drive up your blood sugar? Yes. So it's just as bad as drinking Coca-Cola, juicing a whole lot of vegetables most of the time, because you don't have the fiber in there, because most juicers aren't the masticating juicers that grind up the fiber and keep it in there. They're centrifugal juicers that spit the fiber out, or spit the juice out and grind up the fiber, and then you put it in a little wad that goes in your trash can. Or if you're smart, you put it in your compost pile, but a lot of people don't do that, right? So a lot of juicers just spit the juice out, and then you're drinking straight juice, whether it's carrots, whether it's apples, whatever. So the big thing is God put it all together. So the fiber in the apple, in the vegetables and fruits, would tell you that you're full. So let's not remove the fiber. How's that sound? Glucose is used for energy or stored for later. Some stays in the liver. Fatty liver disease. I won't even get into that right now. But when you have bread and pasta, that increases glucose in your blood. So when the glucose goes up, what happens to the level of insulin that has to be created by the pancreas in order to suck up all that glucose out of your blood? It goes up, right? And insulin is that key that opens the cell membrane for your glucose to enter and be used by the cell. So then the glucose or the insulin goes up, which will decrease the glucose. I'll do this here. Here's sugar hand. Here's insulin hand. Okay? So you eat a meal. Sugar goes up. Your body creates insulin in order to drive the sugar down, right? But then after a while, insulin's coming down, coming down, coming down. But if your brain is starving because you don't have enough nutrients, right? That blood sugar only lasts for so long, and your brain is starving because you don't have enough vitamin and mineral content to really keep your body satiated for very long, because you just ate a high sugar meal, which was driven down by the insulin. Follow me? Sugar goes down. You got that 11 o'clock crash. You're sitting at your desk, and you're going, I can't keep my eyes open. I got to have a candy bar. So you eat that candy bar, and boom, here comes blood sugar. Boom, insulin comes back up. Then you go have lunch. Another blood sugar. See, so blood sugar goes up, insulin goes up. Insulin drives the sugar down, boom, boom, boom. It's just this vicious cycle. You don't have enough vitamins or minerals in a good quality, heavy-duty plants and animals type of meal in order to satiate your body throughout the day, and in order to have enough fiber in that meal to offset the big, giant sugar crashes, the big, giant ups and downs of your blood sugar. And that is what most people do, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for decades. You could put sugar diseases, put another one up here, arthritis. That's a bone disease, right? What's the organ dysfunction? Bone. What's the nutritional deficiency? Name it. Because you're eating too much sugar, a lot of it. Eating a lot of sugar, there goes phosphorus, there goes calcium, there goes magnesium out of the stores in your bones, and here comes all kinds of bone diseases. Make sense? I'll read you a few more facts here. Obesity, heart disease, cancer, gout. Gout is one of those big things. Hypertension. How many people know that your hypertension is controlled by what you eat? But 100 million Americans probably, a third of the population is on at least one hypertension drug. If you eat something, I'll break it down for you. Simple, 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 simple. If sugar is a chemical to your body, if you can think of refined processed sugar, bleached white sugar, cakes, candies, pastas, all the gluten, all the noodles, all the crap at the deli, all the crap, I shouldn't say deli, all the stuff at the candy counter, all the stuff in the crackers, the boxes, the chips, the cakes, the candies, all that stuff. If you can think of all of that as a toxic chemical to your body, because it is, it's been fully de-riched, so that's why they had to put on the label enriched, right? So if you can think of that as a toxic chemical to your body, if you were to ingest a toxic chemical, would your heart rate go up or would your heart rate go down? So did your blood pressure then go up or did your blood pressure then go down? Right there. End of story, drop the mic, walk off stage, hypertension, done. Right there. 90% of the time. Why is nobody telling anybody this? Why do we have patients walking in this office that are on 5 hypertension drugs and they still have hypertension? Well, they're not patients here for very long until that changes. Does that make sense? How does it change? What do we do that changes it? We don't take them off their meds, do we? What do we do that changes it? Change their what? Change their diet. It's the most simple thing on the planet. It's so easy. How could it be any easier? All they got to do is change your diet. Do you want to take the 5 pills? Well, no, I don't want to take the 5 pills. Okay, well then all we got to do is change your diet. Well, I don't know about that. I'm telling you, sometimes it can be, no, people aren't that bad. By the time they get here, they've been through every other option. But isn't that sad? Why is this their last option? Why is it that they're coming to me missing 6 organs and they're on 15 medications and they're wondering what can be done? Why didn't we do conservative, 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 and then maybe a drug? Because there's, right, say that louder. Jennifer said it right there. Because there's no money in it. Yeah, that's exactly right. Absolutely. Good answer. I didn't say it, she did. I'll give her all the credit. But why can we not do conservative, conservative, then maybe and if and only if then drug? And then maybe and maybe and maybe then and only then surgery. Why can't we do that? She just answered. A few more facts and then I'll turn you loose. Here we go. It could readily be said, a few doctors say this, I won't get into the names, who they are, they're big names. Obesity, heart disease, cancer, gout, hypertension, and Alzheimer's could all be eliminated if sugar was eliminated. That's a big statement. That's a big statement. Here's the cycle. We already went through that. Here's another thing that I wanted to plug for next class. Panic attacks. If you know anybody that has panic attacks, remember that next class that's coming up, chemical imbalance, no such thing? Yeah, we're going to teach no such thing. You've never heard anything like this. Just like you heard cholesterol was the cause of heart disease for the last 50 years, you've also heard chemical imbalance, right? Just like you've heard, oh, she's big boned or she has a hormone imbalance, or you've all heard it, right? It's all crap. It's all crap. And same thing. Same deal. So if you want to hear more about that, come in 2 weeks. Panic attacks, mood swings, learning disorders, behavioral illness, mental illness, neurological disorders, all describe modern children, right? And guess what they're all intimately, undeniably, verifiably linked to? The diet. The diet, right? So right here, we could even put all of the, the mental, the behavioral disorders, chemical imbalance. That's what we're going to talk about. That's why I'm saying this is huge. Why don't doctors talk about this? Da-da-da-da. Exactly. I'll give you a few more facts here. Yeah, we won't get into that. The bliss point we talked about. How many of you know what a bliss point is? Have you ever heard that term before? The bliss point? It's the perfect level of sweetness to something. You know what it is, you just don't know what it is. You've tasted it, but you don't know what it's called. I promise you. Howard Moskowitz was a legend. If you read anything, watch anything, hear anything about any of the food documentaries or any of the food movement or anything, you'll hear this guy's name. Because he is the guy, he was a legend in the processed food industry, and he created the new soda flavor of Dr. Pepper. People I know who love Dr. Pepper don't just love Dr. Pepper. They love Dr. Pepper. It's their favorite doctor. You're all shaking your heads like you know. Yeah, somebody, yeah. You know people who love Dr. Pepper, but they just don't love Dr. Pepper. They love Dr. Pepper. You know what I mean? Well, he created that. He determined the bliss point. It's a perfect sugar level. In other words, it's right up to that point where you're addicted. It's just perfect. But beyond that, if you put more sugar in it than that bliss point, that's why it's called the bliss point. If you put more sugar in it, it turns people off. Something too sweet. You've heard that. You've heard people say, ooh, I like that, but it's just too sweet. You know, it's like that 9-layer chocolate cake up at City Cafe. Yeah, that. It's like too sweet. Yeah, I know. I know what you've been doing on the weekends. So the bliss point is a level of sugar that people love, but if you exceed it, they stop loving it. Well, now, 45 years later, see, he figured that out 45 years ago. He figured that out in 1970-ish, I believe. Now, that bliss point is in pasta sauce. See, there's a different bliss point for pasta sauces, for cereals, for sauces, for teriyaki sauces. There's all of these bliss points for the certain specific level of sweetness for that product. So who can hit the bliss point for whatever product is probably who's going to be dominating the market in that sector, right? It's food science, people. It's that simple. They know how your neurons work. They figured it out. Pharmaceutical ads know how it works. That's how they mention all of the side effects with nice bubbly music in the background and somebody talking calmly like this. They don't say, oh, you're going to lose your mind. You're going to want to kill your family and drive your car off a cliff. Ah! They don't do it like that. They say, may lead to suicidal thoughts. You may wander around in the neighborhood lost and alone at night, but it's all right. They'll say it over because they know neurologically the human mind gets 80% of it is all tone. 20% of it is information. Just ask a guy and a girl who have been recently arguing. Ask a married couple. You know, that's just his tone. She won't talk to me. It's information versus tone. 80%, 20%. It's massive. So if they know that about psychology, if they know that about the human nervous system, wouldn't they know the bliss point? Wouldn't they know with each product, can't we dial this in and make it perfect? It's exploiting biology, you could say. And kids think everything should taste sweet. So if you raise your kids to a certain point and then you want to transition them over to eating broccoli, good luck. And I get all day, every day, well, little Johnny won't eat this. I guarantee you little Johnny ain't buying his own groceries. So little Johnny will eat it if that's what little Johnny has to eat. I don't mean to be, crass. You're the parent, not me. But I'm not trying to tell you how to raise your kids. But I guarantee you, little Johnny ain't going to Publix and forking out $50 for sugary foods. If what's in the pantry is what's in the pantry, little Johnny's going to eat what's in the pantry. Am I right or am I right? Right. Who's doing the family here? Mom and dad or little Johnny? You follow me? I mean, it's ridiculous. I'll just call it what it is. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. Oh, and then you're wondering why little Johnny has ADD. Right? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Thank you. Decreased motivation, increased acne. Acne, skin problems. Yeah. So pull this out. Pull out your 146 reasons why sugar is crazy and killing you and destroying the world. It's on this. Yeah. It's on the back page. Yeah. It's on the left-hand side of the folder, the third or fourth sheet back. Look through that. Find a disease that's not on there. It's crazy. All the cancers, all the depressions, all the postpartum depressions, all the chemical imbalance stuff, all the thyroid cancers, problems, disorders, syndromes, acne, dermatological problems, neurological problems, cardiological problems. How do I know cardiological problems? Go to find me a hospital that doesn't have a McDonald's in the lobby or a Starbucks a floor away from the cardiac unit. Find one. I'm waiting. I worked in one. Let me know. I know how it works. I get it. Right? That is written by Nancy Appleton, PhD. She's probably studied sugar more than or equal to some of the biggest names on the planet. This is something I use in almost every class because it's so poignant. This is how we change people's diets. And that's the only way you're going to save people from a sure lifetime of drugs and surgery. It's the only way. 2 roads. Pharmaceutical road, nutritional road. Period. End of story. Drop the mic, walk off stage. There's no halfway. There is no halfway. Emergency medicine, great idea. We're big proponents of it. I wouldn't be here without it. Less than 1% of all the surgeries and procedures on this continent are emergency medical procedures. Less than 1%. So what we think is emergency medicine is not really emergency medicine even. A lot of times it's people put things off, and now it's an emergency. It's not that their car just wrapped around, got T-boned at a stoplight. It's the fact that they've been ignoring an ongoing emergency situation or danger situation and just got to the point where now it's an emergency. So we are big fans and proponents of emergency medicine, but what we're talking about is not always emergency medicine, okay? Last couple things. Oh yeah, how many people come to me? Baggy eyes, pale skin tone, how do we fix that? Yeah. Hey, can you do anything about depression? Yeah, guess where we start? Right, can you do anything about a broken bone? Sure, guess where we start? Hey, can you do anything about acne, psoriasis, eczema, scleroderma? Sure. You know where we start? Exactly. Why? Because you are what you eat. Your body is this simple. Sugar, fat, carbohydrates. Or sugar, fat, and protein, I should say. You are made of this, and you are made of this. You are not made of this. Most people's diets are full of this. That's how easy it is. It's very simple. We don't need to get into the grams and calories and carbs. So for 50 years, people have been told that obesity and illness are caused by increased calories and decreased exercise, which implies, doesn't it, that anyone overweight is either lazy or greedy. Doesn't it? That's not the case, is it? I'll read that again. For 50 years, people have been told that obesity and illness are caused by increased calories and decreased exercise, which implies that anyone who's overweight is either lazy or greedy. But we know that's not the case, right? So in the 70s, the US government reviewed safety of sugar for the first time. That's going back to the 70s, going back to the Ansel Keys. I said we would revisit this, the Ansel Keys and the John Yudkin, the guy who was for the fat and the guy who was for the sugar. Well, the US government reviewed safety of sugar for the first time going back to the 1970s. We know now that the sugar industry back then paid the scientists. They hired a public relations company and they released a press report that said scientists dispel sugar fears. You can go back and you can look this up on microfiche at your local library. You can see the headlines. You can grab the newspapers. It's all over the place. Scientists dispel sugar fears. But if you just knew that God made fat and man processed the sugar, if you just knew that right there, that should tell you enough. Then you get into the whole trans fat debate. And then we think we can outdo butter, so we make something called, who made margarine? Man, who made butter? So now, here we are 15, 20, 30 years later, now everybody's going, oh, trans fats are killing us. What's another word for trans fat? Margarine. It's crazy. If it wasn't crazy, you'd think it was fiction. If it wasn't true, right? So final thing, most significant finding. It's not about calories, it's about the source of the calories. In 2 to 4 weeks, sugar cravings can disappear. Within 2 months, if you don't know what's going on, we've seen it. Meds can stabilize, you can lose weight, your skin can clear up, you can spend money on good veggies, and save money on crap food. People think it's so expensive to eat. How many of you have heard that? It's so expensive to eat organic food. No, what's expensive is sitting in line at Chick-fil-A and paying $14 for a meal with a shake. That's what's expensive. You can eat very well, very, very, very well. And I'm not making fun of Chick-fil-A. Don't get your panties in a ruffle over Chick-fil-A. I know this is Cleveland. I know they're Christian chickens. I get it. I get it. But I get it. The chickens were prayed over before they were genetically modified. I get it. No, but it's super easy to eat healthy, and your eating should be, that's your price of living on planet Earth. It should be super easy, and it should be one of your main sources of outgo for your income. I mean, one of your major expenditures should it not be your food, living healthy, rather than insurance premiums and deductibles, which is where it's at for most people, right? A few other things. 41 states have an obesity rate higher than 25%. 41 states. How many states are there in the United States? 41 of them have an obesity rate higher than 25%. When did that happen? Did it happen before 1970s? Or after the 1970s? After 1970s? So what's the pattern there? See that? Yeah, we'll cover. So how to decrease your sugar intake? I'll give you 6 hints right now. Here's number 1. Decrease your soft drinks and your juices. Number 2, decrease your breads and pastas. Number 3, increase your water and your fat, because when you drink more water and you eat more fat, what's that going to do to your brain level? What's your brain made of again? Fat. So when I call you fathead, don't get offended. I'm giving you a compliment because you got a big old Jethro brain, right? So MS, think about it. All these neurodegenerative disorders, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, MS, all these neurodegenerative problems with kids and adults now. What if it's caused by not getting enough fat in your body? What if part of it is caused by not getting enough fat in your body so that your cells can regenerate? How about that? So if you increase your water, increase your fat, you'll eat less. You'll eat less crap food. Number 4, buy organic. Certified organic cannot include GMOs. Certified organic cannot include GMOs. Can they include pesticides? A little bit, probably, but they cannot include GMOs. Non-GMO product seals, you all know what I'm talking about when you see the seal on the thing, non-GMO project. Yes. And avoid artificial sweeteners. We won't even get into that. Artificial sweeteners, I teach entire classes on that. Artificial sweeteners were designed to kill humans, and now they're in your food supply. That's all we need to say about it. So what I'm talking about with that is aspartame, NutraSweet, Splenda, sucralose, all that stuff. All the NutraSweet diet. That's another key. Anything low fat, no fat, nope. If it says low fat or no fat on it, don't do it. That means it's got what in it? Trans fats, right? Or something in it, or it's been, all of the fat has been sucked out of it. Other thing is low sugar, no sugar. If it's low sugar and no sugar, what does that mean? It's got artificial sweeteners in it. So pull out your little gum things right now. Pull out your Eclipse, like I chewed on for years, self-admittedly. Pull out your little Eclipse with the aluminum foil, toxic aluminum foil, little bubble thing, right? Everybody's wondering where all this crap's coming from. It's right there, right? Pull out, the little foil bubble wrappers that your kids are chewing on all day long. Yeah, covered in aluminum. And look on the back of it, and it'll say sucralose, aspartame. It'll say 3 or 4 artificial sweeteners on it right there, and you're chewing on it all day long. It happens all day. So when you see your friends and family chewing on that crap, save a life. Save them from sure long-term neurological degeneration. It's that simple. Any Facebook question? Yeah.
Elijah Volkman said
Elijah.
stopped drinking Diet Mountain Dew and switched to only water about a year ago.
Oh, right on, Elijah. Elijah. Oh, man. Hi, Elijah. How you doing, brother? Elijah said he got me to switch.
Remember the last time we saw him switched from Diet Mountain Dew?
Yeah.
Stopped drinking Diet Mountain Dew, and switched to only water.
Oh, yeah. Got me to switch from Diet Mountain Dew and got me to drinking only water a year ago?
A year and a couple months ago.
Man, Elijah. Yeah. Good conversation. And see, Elijah, I met this guy camping at a festival over the summer. Yeah, it was Imagine Festival, a year and 2 months ago. And just one conversation with him. That's it. Didn't have to beat him over the head. Didn't have to see him every week. I just told him, hey, here's the fact. Here's what the deal is. He listened. He applied it. And I would say he's doing much better. Absolutely. I wish Elijah, comment there and tell us how you're doing, man. We saw him just not too long ago, a few months ago, and he's doing great. And just that one change right there.
Sir.
Yes, sir. Well, elaborate, man. I want to know. So you don't have to give us all your physical stuff or whatever, but see, sometimes you just cut one thing out, and that's it. Like there goes their headaches, there go their heartburn, all this stuff. You just cut that one thing out, and that's it.
Said, I feel amazing.
I feel amazing. Perfect. All right. The bill's in the mail, mister. Now, thank you. No, but spread the word. Elijah, that's great, man. See, that's a beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for saying that, man. That's greatly appreciative, because that's one person we met. And can you do that to your friends and your family and your coworkers and strangers? I mean, who wouldn't want to do this, right? What else we got?
Blake, cut more than half of my sugar intake and eating clean. Never been better.
Right on. Is that Blake? Blake?
Blake.
Blakey! What's going on, Blaker? Yeah, cut half of his sugar intake.
Cut half the sugar intake and eating clean. Never been better.
Never been better. Right on. That right there will save him thousands of dollars of premiums and deductibles and copays and procedures and colonoscopies and everything. That right there. Literally. You're welcome, brother. Love you. Blake. Blake, son of William. Yes. Blake, son of William. Love you, man. All right. Anything else? Anything else on Facebook?
He says hi.
Hi. Hi. But share this. Like it. Send it to people. Share this out there, you guys. We run all kinds of special deals. Hey, if your patient's here, take a picture with me, put it on your Facebook, feed it. You get a little kickback. Hey, I can give kickbacks all day. I'm not signed up with an insurance company. It's great. And you can like us, send stuff out there, testimonials. Everybody in class right now, if you're not already following us on Facebook, you know what? Go ahead and pull out your phone and do it. That'd be wonderful. Yeah.
Added on. He just wanted to say, I have so much more energy, and I almost want to say my skin looks better.
Right
You're
on.
the man. Keep it up.
Right on. Yeah. Excellent. Well, and that's you're welcome, buddy, and I'm glad that you listened. But see, just like Elijah did, everybody, you hear the information, but it doesn't matter unless you apply it. You know? We had one conversation and then literally saw him a year later and he's doing so much better. Yes, skin's looking better. Everything about him's looking better. Feeling better, running circles around people. So this will increase your longevity. This will increase your vitality, your ability to, how crappy is it to go, you know, save up for a vacation or save up for retirement and then you're sick and you can't go on the vacation and this and that and why? If we could just do that. But guess what? We're doing a lot more than that. So tell people. What else we got? Is that it?
That's it for right now.
Any questions, comments, concerns? Anybody? And we are almost right on time. 7:15. We started 15 minutes late. Anybody else? Any questions, comments, concerns? I know you got some questions out there, folks. Come on. What you got, Jonathan? I know you got a question there. I know you. Yeah, you got a question. Yes, comment.
First class I went to was your water class.
Hold on. Let's get a microphone for you, so we can be. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, and hey, Chad, or Marlo too, said I'm kind of better too, Chad.
I'm kind of better too.
I'm kind of better too.
Chad had a great testimonial, I think the last class, was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah. Great testimony. I'm kind of better too. That's funny. I'm kind of better too. New guy, Chad, great guy. He was here, some of you were here, were watching. He had double open heart surgery by the time he was 40, I think, if I remember right. He told the whole world. I'm not divulging his medical history, but just that right there, what we just talked about right there was more important than any cardiological visit he ever had. And I'm sure he would probably agree. So Chad, it's been a pleasure helping you and your family, man. Keep it up.
He said, love you, man.
Love you. Love you, buddy. Right on. Robin, yes, go ahead.
So the first class I came to was on the water.
Was that this summer?
I think so. Early fall, yeah.
A couple months ago. Yeah.
So I went home, had a family meeting. Not trying to attack anymore. So we fill up our glass jugs at Walmart.
Good.
So now my notes are, the toaster has to go.
Good. Yeah, and I didn't even really get into that, the whole glycosaminoglycans. I didn't even get into that whole thing. I didn't want to get too far down the rabbit hole with that. But toasted bread, yeah, make these big old giant molecules that just tear you up. Because it's baked sugar.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's sugar that's baked. It's burnt, crusty sugar that is not.
I'm thinking about it's s'more season.
I know.
I mean, that's just like, there's no redeeming quality to anything you just put on them.
Not at all. What is a marshmallow? Anybody have any idea? How do they make that?
The graham cracker, it's all heated and
Right.
burnt.
Right. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, there's no redeeming. They're delicious. But hey, if it wasn't delicious, I mean, if McDonald's it wasn't delicious, they wouldn't have franchises in 250 something countries. You know what I mean? There's that human element that loves sight, smell, taste, touch. I mean, it's the senses. It's the lust of the world and the pride of life, and you know, it's or lust of the flesh, the eyes, the pride of life, and you know, it's the senses. It's why we walk by faith, not by sight. It's the senses. It's what gets us. It's that taste. It's that smell, that brings back memories. I mean, you can walk outside here and smell M&M Mars. Just like when I used to go outside 30 miles away from Battle Creek, Michigan, and I could smell, Frosted Flakes. It brings back memories. It's crazy. Any other questions, comments, concerns? What do you got? I see it smoke
My little
rising.
girl is lactose. We do lactose free everything. So you just piqued my interest about that whole.
Lactose intolerance?
So
Lactose is a sugar that occurs in dairy. So yogurt, milk, stuff like that. So if somebody has a lactose intolerance, it's more than likely from, it's an enzyme that's being shut down. Your body makes it. Everybody's body makes it for the most part. That enzyme is being shut down for some reason. Now, if they're older, it'd be drugs. If they're younger, it could be a number of things too. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, and certain people, well, we'll get into that later. We'll get into that off camera, off Facebook. But lactose intolerance, lactose is a sugar that's degraded by the lactase enzyme. So if you have a deficiency in the lactase enzyme, there's a reason why. It has to be a reason why. And then eventually you can get that person's body up to the point where they can digest that stuff. Yeah. But we can talk more off of Facebook. Yes?
Hey, okay, Jeff Wendland said, Brett, what do you like as a pre-workout snack for fuel doing high-intensity CrossFit style workouts?
Jeff Wendland. Jeff, how you doing, buddy? What are you doing watching out there? I haven't talked to you in a long time. High-intensity workout doing CrossFit.
CrossFit style, what do you do as a pre-workout snack for fuel?
Pre-workout snack. Well, I don't do CrossFit. I know it looks like it, but I don't do CrossFit. But high intensity workout stuff, fuel, protein shakes, man. I would do protein shakes. And even when I threw a lot of weights back in college, pre and during and post college, heavy duty protein. But I will tell you this: I would stay away from all the GNC, crazy protein, muscle milk stuff that's all chemical laden and has a bunch of artificial sweeteners in it. I would pound, just as like I do now, I would pound vegetables with as much protein and fat in that as I could. Probably not a whole lot of fat to weigh me down, but I would stick mainly with veggies. Absolutely. Swiss chard, kale, beets, beet greens. Just go off on Brussels sprouts. Standard Process, one of the main brands we carry here, has great protein shakes. But Sun Warrior and One World Way are also good pre-workout stuff, pre-workout and post-workout stuff. But I do not do any pre-workout like creatine stuff or anything like that, and I wouldn't anymore either. What was the rest of his question?
That was it. Doing high-intensity CrossFit style workouts, what do you recommend?
High-intensity CrossFit for fuel, I would pound protein and fat. Protein and fat can break down into glucose for your body to use. That's another thing that you're not told frequently. So most of the pre-workout stuff is high sugar, is high synthetic nutraceuticals in mega dosages, and is also chock full of artificial sweeteners. So when you say pre-workout, that's what term comes to mind. But knowing what I know now and doing what I do now, I would just pound plants in protein shake right before, probably about 30 or 45 minutes right before.
He said, I just like a banana being a diabetic and I need some sugar for fuel.
Okay. Yeah.
But you can add that into a shake.
Yeah. You can put a banana right into, Yeah, you can put a banana right into your shakes. Actually, sometimes I put a half banana or a quarter of banana right in my shake in the morning. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so...
Oh, but I will say this. Type 2 diabetics. We've had many type 2 diabetics that are not type 2 diabetics anymore. You just decrease the sugar, and guess what happens? Their body comes back online. Oh, and one thing too, insulin will age you faster than any clock. Insulin will age you. It will go up and up and up, and your need for insulin will increase and increase. Blood sugar will come down if you decrease your sugar. Here's the deal too, that's type 2 diabetics. Type 1 diabetics, what about type 1? I get this question all the time. What about type 1 diabetics? So type 1 diabetics is genetic, right? But here's the deal. The kid wasn't diagnosed with diabetes until he was 14 years old. Or I heard of type 1 diagnosed 21, 22, 25 years old, right? So what happened between the time that the kid was born and the time that somebody decided that his body couldn't process glucose without insulin? insulin-dependent diabetes. Huh? Well, what happened? Was he born with it? No, couldn't have been. He acquired it. It's acquired. Does that make sense? If he had it upon birth, he would not have lived because he couldn't have processed glucose. Does that make sense? He's dependent on insulin. If type 1 diabetes, right? Type 1, type 2. Type 2 is you develop it. It's adult onset is the other name, right? Adult onset. That should tell you something, right? Type 2, right? Type 1, that's the insulin dependent, but type 2 diabetes is adult onset. Type 1 diabetes is where they tell you it's genetic. But here's the deal: if it's genetic, why are they not? They're not discovered until 6 years, 12 years, 21 years. I heard somebody the other day that was diagnosed type 1 diabetes when they were in their 30s. Something happened. Does that make sense? And that's all I'll say now. Off camera, we'll talk more about that. Yeah.
And he also said doing great, brother.
Fabulous. Jeff, good to see you, man. I'd love to chat with you, see what you're up to. Gosh, it's just a blast from the past this week. How'd all these guys from so long ago just hop on Facebook?
And then Elijah said, also a random question, did he, as in you, talk about caffeine at all? Kind of been curious about how bad it is.
We did not, but get a hold of me, man. We'll chat about caffeine. We'll chat about caffeine over some caffeine.
Just explain to us the quality.
Yeah, it's the quality of it. It's good coffee versus bad coffee. It's not so much coffee, it's what people put in the coffee. You know, we have that talk. But caffeine's good for you. I love it. It's a stimulant. It's great. Anything else? Any questions here in the room? We're going to close up on Facebook. Anything else? Going once, going twice? Did you guys have a good time? Give Facebook a shout. Woo! Yay! Wow, that was dead. Now we're going to go. They're ready to go eat some sugar, I guess. All right, guys, thank you very much. Dr. Brett Spradlin, Divine Design Natural Health. Tell everybody you know. Get them here. We're going to give away free stuff. Wish you were here. No yawning.
Trying to keep up in all this chaos.